welcome back to the channel, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. Please go ahead and leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. This is a really good way to support the channel. Even better way to support the channel is to check out the link in the description for my merch store and go and get yourself a hoodie or a t-shirt or something like that. I guarantee you will be the best dressed conspiracy theorist at Christmas dinner. Now, with all that out of the way, let's see what we got today. We are live.
The raw, unfiltered scientific proof for what the pyramids were really built for. This is what a real Egyptian tomb looks like, and this is the biggest tomb in the world, the Great Pyramid of Giza. The closer you look, the more you realize this pyramid was definitely not made for burying the dead, because the materials they used to build it are exactly what we'd use today to create an electric current. Giza used to be covered with bright white casing stones that were virtually airtight, made out of polished limestone brought from Tura, a quarry 500 miles away. Oh, they just wanted the pyramids to look all nice and white and cute, right? So much that they were willing to drag stones the length of Florida away to do so, for the aesthetic. This special limestone from Tura happens to have less magnesium in it than regular limestone, making it an ideal insulator of electricity, as well as perfect for reflecting sunlight to keep the inside cool. The interior chambers of the pyramid were built with rose granite containing 85% quartz, which is piezoelectric, meaning it produces a small electric charge when moved or squeezed, the same quartz that's used to power a watch battery or a barbecue lighter. Granite also ionizes the air inside the chambers, which further increases the conductivity of electricity. On top of being sourced from Aswan, another quarry hundreds of miles away, the granite slabs inside Giza have these weird structural designs to them that don't exactly look good and are just incredibly difficult to make. Why on earth would you build a roof like this that just makes the job 10 times harder, using 80-ton stone blocks from hundreds of miles away that you can't even see from inside the chamber when it's done? Historians will tell you they were relieving chambers, meant to keep the room from collapsing from the great weight of the pyramid overhead, even though the chambers below had no such relief. On the other hand, if you were somehow able to apply pressure to these chambers, you'd get an electric charge from the quartz. A lot of it. But electricity can't just exist if we want to utilize it for energy. It needs to get directed through something in order for us to make use of it, an electric current. Copper is often used in wires to do just that. And take a wild guess what a remote camera revealed in the pyramid's narrow shafts just a few years back. 2 copper handles embedded into the stone at the end of the shaft, the only metal to have ever been confirmed in Giza, as well as a set of what appear to be instructions that looks like a wiring diagram painted on the side of the shaft, to which modern Egyptologists claim these handles were used with ropes to pull jars up the shaft. They're just getting desperate at this point. These shafts really have no confirmed purpose. They're commonly referred to as air vents, but some of them don't even lead to the outside. In 2013, former Egyptian Antiquities Minister Zahi Hawass was accused of theft of Egyptian artifacts from the pyramid. In the list of items rumored to have been stolen, there was one that stood out from the rest. Long copper wires. A strange artifact by any means, and just what you'd need to complete an electric current. So were the pyramids built as giant batteries? I mean, we have all the pieces in place, but how exactly would this battery even work? Aerospace engineer Chris Dunn popularized the Giza power plant theory by kinda proving it with actual science, hard numbers, and a scale model. From the top, this is what the inside of Giza looks like: a top or king's chamber with a lower queen's chamber underneath it, a large slanted shaft, the grand gallery connecting both chambers, and a bottom subterranean chamber with a bunch of long narrow shafts leading into each. According to Dunn, the pyramid is what's called a coupled oscillator, a device that's connected to a larger vibrating body in such a way that energy can be transferred between them, converting vibrational energy, the natural resonance of the earth, into microwave energy. Now, the earth, it vibrates, producing frequencies in the form of natural underground seismic activity, the Schumann resonances in Earth's electromagnetic fields, as well as the movement of water in key locations just below Earth's surface, which also creates vibrational frequencies. The entire process starts in the subterranean chamber, which was built directly above underground aquifers with powerful flowing water right under the pyramids. A convenient location for the perfect coincidence theory. It's said that the flowing water and possibly even seismic activity of the Earth would create vibrational waves that resonate throughout the pyramid. Vibrational waves that would be maximized at the center of mass of any object, and Giza just so happens to sit at the center of landmass of the world. Coincidence? Now, the real kicker was when traces of zinc and hydrochloric acid were found in the shafts leading into the queen's chamber. Dunn suggests that some ancient form of these two chemicals were poured down the shafts and mixed together in the chamber, which would trigger a chemical reaction, one that releases hydrogen gas, a proven process using the exact trace chemicals that were found in the shafts. The gas would travel from the queen's chamber through the grand gallery and up into the king's chamber, while the the pressure of the gas compresses the granite quartz and creates piezoelectricity, another proven process. The vibrations from below would trigger resonators in the Grand Gallery, which it was believed that 27 acoustic devices were placed in the empty slots that can be found here. The compressed quartz would create the spark for the vibrations to energize the hydrogen atoms into a microwave energy beam, which would reach the King's Chamber through this 4.8 times 8.4 inch watertight shaft cut into the granite. Conveniently, the perfect size for the hydrogen microwave wavelength at 21 centimeters. And the exact dimensions of what we'd call a waveguide today, a structure that guides the transmission of energy waves in one direction. And let me remind you, granite is harder than steel. Cutting a shaft like this is damn near impossible with known ancient technology, and definitely not something they do for fun. These microwaves would further resonate in the King's Chamber, which was tuned to a very specific frequency using those layers of stones in the roof. Remember those incredibly difficult stones above the chamber? That's how they tuned the pyramid's frequency. The sarcophagus in this room is expected to have been some source of high voltage, like the Baghdad battery, to further ionize the hydrogen and make that room superconductive. Gold-capped pips, as we believe the pyramids to have had, would also make the perfect conductor to attract the electricity and send it up into the atmosphere. Sounds like it's time for me to take my meds. A super pseudoscientific theory and highly theoretical at that, until you realize in 2018, studies proved that the pyramids can focus electromagnetic energy in their internal chambers and also directly beneath them. That's real, quantifiable, scientific evidence that supports this theory. Many archaeologists also report electromagnetic readings inside of the pyramids and directly above them. So the pyramid's exterior was made with an insulator, the interior with conductors, and the chambers with material that produces electricity. Are these all just coincidences? And even if we did have electricity generated in the pyramids, how would this energy even be distributed for everyone to use? Our boy Tesla may have known the answer and was silenced from revealing it to the world. Let's see if it's up.
Now that is fascinating. One of the more comprehensive.
You've heard me talk about the 5G towers and how it's not for internet at all. It's a microwave weapon developed by the military to be used on the citizens. Take a look at this video.
They started at 9:11 at night until 9:11 in the morning. You see the pulse going from the east to the west coast. All right, boom, you see that? Those are NexRad stations. Each of those towers are 750 kilowatts, pumping out between 2.7 to 2.9 gigahertz in the microwave range. This is roughly the same frequency as your microwave oven.
Now, there are tons and tons of whistleblowers coming out about this technology and how dangerous and damaging and deadly it is. This is not for internet. You want to know if it's true? Go right up to one of those damn towers and see how good your service is. It's still gonna suck. These things are not for internet service or communications. It's a weapon. They are frying you with microwaves while you sleep. If you saw in the video, did you notice where it wasn't? Where they weren't microwaving the population while they slept? All the areas of the country that are the least populated. Is that by accident? Those microwaves just magically don't go to those certain areas of the country? No, there's no reason to do it there. There's very few people that live there compared to the populated areas of the country that have huge cities in them. That's where you notice they are microwaving you to death. Are you feeling sick? Are you feeling lethargic? You can't think straight. You're not sleeping well. You're having crazy dreams. All of this stuff is radiation poisoning. Look up the symptoms of radiation poisoning. You're going to see they identically match a lot of your symptoms that you're having. Funny enough, it also matches a lot of the symptoms of COVID. Crazy how that works. So I'm telling you guys, you have got to understand what's happening. And they're talking about putting up 4 times the amount of towers in the next 4 years. Why would they need that? We can prove that it's not for internet, it's not for cell phone service. So why? You need to start asking yourself, why are they putting these things up at an unprecedented rate and then lying to your face about what they're for? Reach out, let's connect, let's figure out the plan of how we stop this.
Yeah, all I know is I get all warm and fuzzy inside whenever I see videos of people cutting them down.
We grow up reading words on a page in a book, theories of how all this is formed by sedimentary lines and millions of years old. We're just supposed to believe everything we read, given multiple tests through high school, college, educated guess. But where's the education coming from? The only education I see is something horrific happened. Wiped this whole place out, almost. Transitioning huge brick mortar covering buildings into what we're indoctrinated with as rock. Megalithic blocks were once brick internals. So-called mountains are the buildings.
Let's see where this goes.
Let's get right to the point. This whole thing was a structure that got cooked as hell, and this is what you got left. It's all one and the same. Imagine this whole structure was brick and changed somehow during a cataclysm. I know, call me crazy. Everything got melted down just a little bit differently. I mean, I didn't do it, so don't ask me. But it definitely looks a little suspicious here of the brick changing to rock. Kind of like this one. There's my hand. It's a nice hand. I'm trying to find a contractor to build like this. Hadn't had any luck yet, but this is transitioning. I know this is a close-up shot, but basically 90 degrees right there. I took it. Yeah. Then there's a horse and cart thing with that big-ass building in the background. Yeah, Oh. Yeah. So the whole thing was a building.
Interesting.
What if I told you a long time ago the world became melted by some type of solar event or even energy weapon? If you look around, you see many brick buildings that look apparently melted, but the red brick is everywhere. It's underground. It's even in those big columns that we see everywhere, those Greek columns. There's a lot of red brick in this world, and all around the world we see melted red brick statues, red brick staircases, everything just completely melted, and it doesn't make any sense. And all of this, they claim, is just erosion. The truth is, there was some worldwide event, and perhaps this is connected with the Great Reset. While many people think that this may be some type of natural event, there's also the chance that it could also be something much more sinister.
That melted red brick, that melted and deformed stone, another telltale sign of the many resets of our realm. You will find these same buried, melted archways and stone structures like here in Turkey, and the melted red bricks in Syracuse. Was this part of that cycle, that reset cycle like the mud flood and the great flood? Or did something in history happen more darker than that? Some kind of advanced old world tech like Archimedes' mirror, or other directed energy weapon source, causing stone structures and brick to melt like this. Perhaps the same type of technology, like we see in current events that add red flags, that would cause aluminum wheels and engine blocks to melt into liquid metal. Do you think there's a correlation? It seems, though, like many times before, history always repeats itself, one way or the other. How much of a mark will we leave on that story? With so much of our records digitized these days, and none of the structures we build today could stand the test of time like these structures that left a glimpse of the past, the true past, not this history that is nothing more than a set of lies agreed upon that we're taught now. Question everything, friend.
Yeah, there's definitely something to this.
It's not just forgotten undergrounds that are found underneath the roads. Just take a look at this recent roadway uncovery in Russia. Just a paved over metal road. That's right, at a time when metal was a premium, or so we are told. But what was it used for, you might ask? Well, let's take a look at something that the past had in abundance. red brick buildings. That red brick found in all those mud-flooded buildings, they seemed to use in abundance back then. And now, from the roadway at the beginning of the video to the red brick roadways, did you know red bricks store and conduct electricity? That's right, just ask the NPC's favorite source of knowledge and information. The red pigments in bricks can be converted into plastic that conducts electricity. What an amazing breakthrough that they just recently discovered. Recently discovered or rediscovered? Nothing is new under the sun. Just borrowed, repurposed technology from the old world. Now it's beginning to become clear. All those red brick roads and those red brick buildings to go along nicely with all that antiquitech. The truth has been hidden in plain sight all along. So that's the best place to hide our true history. Remember, history is nothing more than a set of lies agreed upon. And it's a set of lies they agreed upon. Question everything, friends. Until next time.
Imagine what the future holds for something that many of us see as waste. These students realized it could be energy. I'm talking about rust on bricks. They discovered how to convert the red pigment into a plastic to conduct electricity. And here's what happens when they put it in a low-temperature oven.
And you can take the brick and you can break it up with a hammer, and all the pieces are blue, and all of these pieces conduct electricity. What's that? If you take that little piece and you put it in the microscope, you're going to see all the holes that a brick has. Plus, you're going to see that all the blue coating is actually little nanofibers. And these little hairs inside the pores of the brick is what stores energy.
So just think what the future holds for your home.
They're also putting together your energy storage unit.
So right now, it's the equivalent to 1% of the storage in a lithium-ion battery. They expect that to increase to 10% in 3 years, and that has construction companies and architects already intrigued.
The idea that we have developed a new construction material for them, a new Lego piece that they did not have in their arsenal, is very attractive to them.
60 regular-sized bricks would be able to power emergency lighting for 50 minutes and would recharge through solar panels in just 13 minutes.
You can easily take two bricks and you can make one positive and one negative. And if you put them together, well, that's in essence a battery, except that what we made is not a battery. It has a different name. It's a supercapacitor.
The very first thing. We live on top of melted red brick buildings. Layer upon layer of reset civilization. A literal realm-wide Tower of Babel. Our ancestors didn't just track the stars, they tracked the resets. Something we have been forced to forget about. The built-in self-cleaning inevitable evil extermination directive. That, unfortunately, has been commandeered by the very thing it was meant to destroy. We have been forced into becoming nothing more than feral beasts in a realm built specifically for us. The Love and Peace Extermination Directive will be taking place soon.
You know, I tell people all the time we're losing the arts, the art of conversation, and just a lot of different things. Things that we used to do that we don't do anymore. And one of the biggest ones is carving. You know, well, there's some carvers out there, but I don't know if we could pull it off these days. Seems like everybody in the old days was a master carver, all around the world. Especially in the case of India. In India, you'll see some of the wildest, most intricately carved buildings in the entire world. Absolutely to the maximum. And how did they do it? It's truly hard to believe. If you look back into Indian history, well, they have spaceships called Vimanas flying around, so maybe they did have access to some type of laser technology or energy weapon that helped them carve these things. Of course, this could all be the result of old-fashioned elbow grease. But it is interesting to say what might have happened. Maybe they used some technology just like this.
I think it's likely they used technology just like that. It's almost obvious that's what they used.
There are more components from above, footprints of what looks identical to a circuit board. And okay, so I'm not saying the Earth is a circuit board. I'm not saying we live in some kind of computer and, you know, some kind of god or anything or something is playing The Sims. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying the Earth looks like it was built to function like a circuit board, okay? For the energy flow, everything, you know, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's an actual circuit board. Okay, so it's a difference, but it looks like one. Just look here, these ruins, and think about what are these? Who built them? When did they build them, and why?
It's an interesting concept.
So here we are in Sydney, Australia. Various types of the building changing from whatever happened. This structure got cooked, and this is what happened. This is what it looks like. Nobody stuck bricks and blocks into supposed nature. Here's bricks. You can see them pretty plain as day. The bottom here, straight lines. Looks like a former railway. You got iron, everything merged. Nobody's building that down there. Just FYI. The whole thing was a building.
So it's all over the world, near as I can tell. This melted red brick, or melted stone for that matter. So clearly there's got to be an explanation for this. And maybe the electricity that flowed through it overheated it, that caused the meltdown. I mean, that's just my own theory. Who actually knows? But this whole concept was a little new to me when I was looking into it. There was a lot of information. This was what I chose to put in this episode, but I will be featuring more in upcoming episodes. One that really intrigued me was in San Francisco. Well, all down this hill was clearly melted brick. It almost looked like melted candle wax. Very, very fascinating stuff. But, you know, I want to know what you guys think about this, you know? Let the comments begin. Let's do this. But this is all I got today, guys. So I guess I will see you tomorrow in the next one. But until then, 80 Canadian. Signing off.